In the audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, we are welcomed into a gentle and uplifting guide for emotional and spiritual healing. Have you ever felt like you're carrying invisible pain that holds you back? Gregory Dickow believes that we all have a deep need to heal our inner wounds, and that healing is not only possible but also the first step toward discovering our life's true purpose. This audiobook summary introduces the idea that many of the struggles we face in life, like anxiety, fear, stress, or feeling unworthy, are signs that our soul is hurting. Dickow encourages us to treat these inner pains with care and patience, just like we would with a physical injury. He reminds us that emotional wounds are real, and they deserve our attention. Isn't it comforting to know that healing begins not with judgment, but with love and kindness? Dickow shares personal stories, biblical wisdom, and encouraging lessons to show listeners how to let go of shame, self-doubt, and emotional pain. He believes that our souls were made for joy, peace, and purpose. Could it be that the answers we seek are already within us, waiting to be uncovered through love, faith, and understanding? In this audiobook summary, the introduction sets a hopeful tone. It invites listeners to believe in healing, to believe in their value, and to believe in a future filled with purpose. Isn't it amazing to think that your pain doesn't define you, but your healing might lead you to your greatest strength? With a warm and comforting voice, Soul Cure opens the door to a journey of self-discovery and inner peace. Are you ready to begin yours? Part 1: Soul Health. Someone has stolen our tent. In the audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter titled Someone Has Stolen Our Tent is a powerful and eye-opening metaphor. What does this strange title really mean? It's about the moment we realize that something important for our sense of peace, safety, or identity feels like it's missing. Have you ever felt like something was taken from you without warning? This chapter explores that feeling gently and gives us hope that we can get it back. Gregory Dickow compares our lives to a tent. A tent is supposed to give us shelter, protection, and a place to rest. But sometimes, through the pain of life, we feel like our tent has been taken away, leaving us exposed, hurt, or unsure about where to go next. Whether it's heartbreak, disappointment, stress, or loss, the chapter reminds us that these moments don't mean we're broken beyond repair. Isn't that encouraging? The audiobook summary explains that the tent may represent our joy, confidence, or sense of purpose. Sometimes, we don't even notice it's gone until we're struggling to stay strong. Dickow reassures us that we are not alone, and more importantly, that what was stolen can be restored. Doesn't that bring a sense of relief? In this chapter, the message is simple yet meaningful. Healing begins when we acknowledge the loss but don't stay stuck in it. God, as presented in the book, is the one who gently helps us rebuild not just our tent, but our inner strength, our dreams, and our identity. Isn't it wonderful to imagine your inner peace being restored, step by step? Dickow shares that we don't need to have all the answers today. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to trust that we are worthy of healing and that a better chapter is still to come. He encourages listeners to be kind to themselves, to rest in faith, and to accept that healing is a journey, one filled with grace, not pressure. Someone has stolen our tent may sound like a cry of loss, but in this audiobook summary, it turns into a hopeful promise. What has been lost can be found again. What has been broken can be made whole. With time, faith, and love, we can rediscover the joy and purpose that felt so far away. Isn't that a journey worth taking? This chapter is an invitation to let go of fear and hold on to hope. You're not alone. You're not forgotten. And your tent? It's waiting to be rebuilt, with peace, love, and purpose guiding every step. Feed your soul beauty, the beauty of Jesus. In this uplifting audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter titled Feed Your Soul Beauty, the Beauty of Jesus is a gentle yet powerful invitation to look beyond the noise of the world and discover what true beauty really means. Have you ever wondered what can truly nourish your soul and give you lasting peace and joy? Gregory Dickow guides listeners to understand that beauty isn't just found in what we see with our eyes, it's something much deeper, something that touches the soul. This chapter encourages us to focus on the beauty of Jesus, not just as a religious figure, but as the perfect expression of love, peace, kindness, and healing. Isn't that comforting to think about? The beauty of Jesus is shown not through perfection or judgment, but through how he lifts people up, speaks to their pain, and never turns anyone away. Dickow gently explains that when we fill our hearts and minds with this kind of beauty that brings peace, hope, and truth, our souls begin to heal. Who wouldn't want that kind of calm and strength? This audiobook summary highlights how so many of us are constantly feeding our minds with fear, comparison, negativity, or guilt. But what if we started feeding our souls beauty instead? What if, instead of chasing approval or trying to fix ourselves all the time, we simply rested in the beauty of being fully loved and accepted? Dickow reminds us that Jesus offers unconditional love. No matter what mistakes we've made, no matter how lost we feel, the love and beauty of Jesus remain steady. This chapter helps listeners gently release shame and step into a life filled with grace. Doesn't that sound like a better way to live? Feed Your Soul Beauties is not about being religious or following strict rules, it's about understanding that your soul is hungry for something more meaningful. It's about recognizing that you are already enough and that by focusing on the beauty of Jesus, you begin to see beauty in yourself and in others too. The message is simple: healing begins when we feed our souls with the right things, truth, kindness, peace, and love. The more we focus on these, the stronger and more joyful we become. We stop chasing after temporary happiness and start living with lasting purpose. This audiobook summary leaves listeners feeling lighter, more hopeful, and deeply encouraged. What would happen if we started seeing the world, and ourselves, through eyes that notice beauty, grace, and goodness? That's the invitation of this chapter. So, if your soul has been feeling tired, empty, or discouraged, let this reminder be your comfort: there is beauty that heals. There is love that restores. And the more you feed your soul with the beauty of Jesus, the more you'll see just how precious and powerful you truly are. Healing from Within, a soul-focused journey. In the audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, listeners are gently guided through a powerful and heartwarming journey toward inner healing and true purpose. Have you ever felt like something was missing deep inside, even when everything on the outside seems okay? This book offers a hopeful answer to that quiet longing many of us carry. Gregory Dickow begins by reminding us that true healing doesn't always come from changing our circumstances, it begins within. So many of us try to fix our lives from the outside in, thinking if we can just work harder, be better, or gain more approval, we'll finally feel peace. But what if the real solution is the exact opposite? This audiobook summary shows that healing starts when we allow ourselves to rest in love, grace, and the truth that we are already valuable. We don't have to earn healing or force purpose to happen, it's already within us, waiting to be discovered. Isn't that a freeing thought? One key message is that many of us are unknowingly living with soul wounds, unhealed emotional pain, fear, rejection, and shame that quietly affect how we see ourselves and others. Dickow doesn't use harsh or judgmental language. Instead, he speaks with warmth and understanding, helping us feel seen and safe. He invites us to look at our pain not with fear but with hope. Throughout the audiobook summary, listeners are encouraged to let go of false beliefs and heavy burdens. For example, the belief that you're not enough, or that your past defines your future. Dickow replaces these thoughts with the truth that you are loved deeply, and your soul has incredible value. Doesn't that spark a sense of peace and strength? Another beautiful part of the message is how the author describes the importance of feeding your soul with the right things: love, faith, beauty, and truth. Just like our bodies need healthy food to thrive, our souls need healthy thoughts and spiritual truths to grow. When we feed our inner world with these uplifting things, we become stronger, calmer, and more joyful. The book also touches on the importance of forgiveness, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. This isn't always easy, but it is deeply healing. Letting go of old hurts opens the door to a new kind of freedom. Wouldn't it feel amazing to finally move forward without the weight of guilt or regret? Ultimately, this audiobook summary reminds us that discovering our purpose isn't about doing more or being perfect, it's about being real, whole, and at peace with who we are. And once our soul is healed, everything else in life begins to shift in beautiful ways. Gregory Dickow Soul Cure is a message of hope, healing, and quiet strength. If your heart has been aching for rest or your mind has been filled with self-doubt, this journey offers you a gentle but powerful reminder: healing is possible, and your soul was made for more. Why not start that healing today? Your beautiful immortal soul. In the audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter Your Beautiful Immortal Soul opens a loving and eye-opening conversation about who we really are at our core. Have you ever paused to ask yourself, what makes me valuable, beyond titles, achievements, or mistakes? This part of the journey reminds us that our worth isn't based on what we do, but on who we are, beautiful, eternal souls. Gregory Dickow helps us understand that we are not just our bodies or our emotions, we are souls. And our souls are immortal, meaning they go beyond time and are full of purpose. Isn't that an amazing thought? The audiobook summary gently encourages us to see ourselves from a higher, more spiritual perspective. When we recognize the beauty and power of our inner selves, we begin to treat ourselves, and others, with more care, patience, and love. This chapter isn't about pressure or performance. It's about peace and perspective. Dickow explains that our souls are naturally made to thrive, to love, and to connect deeply with God and others. The challenge is that life can distract us, hurt us, or make us forget who we truly are. But that doesn't change the truth: your soul is still whole, still valuable, still shining inside. The audiobook summary highlights how we sometimes identify ourselves through past pain or present struggles. Maybe you felt lost, unworthy, or unsure of your purpose. Dickow offers gentle reassurance that your soul hasn't lost its worth. In fact, the very pain you've experienced might be the starting point for deep healing and powerful growth. Isn't it hopeful to know that healing can begin right where you are? Throughout this section, the author lovingly invites us to see ourselves the way God sees us, with compassion and joy. You don't have to wait to be perfect to be valuable. Your soul is already a masterpiece in progress. When we begin to align our thoughts with this truth, something amazing happens. Peace replaces anxiety, love replaces fear, and clarity replaces confusion. Another beautiful takeaway from this audiobook summary is the encouragement to care for your soul with kindness. Just like you would nourish your body with good food, you can nourish your soul with truth, beauty, gratitude, and connection. Practices like prayer, reflection, forgiveness, and even quiet time can help your soul feel refreshed and whole again. Dickow reminds us that purpose doesn't always look like a big spotlight. It often starts with small, meaningful steps. When your soul feels loved and strong, it naturally wants to give, help, and grow. You don't have to strive to be important, you already are. Isn't that such a freeing thought? Your beautiful immortal soul is a powerful reminder that your deepest identity is unshakable. In a world that changes fast, your soul remains steady, sacred, and full of promise. If you've been searching for meaning, maybe the best place to start is by rediscovering the incredible beauty that's already within you. Get swept away, a beautiful disaster. In this heartfelt audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter Get Swept Away, a Beautiful Disaster takes us on a gentle and powerful journey through life's unexpected storms. Have you ever felt like your life was in chaos, even when you were trying your best? This chapter shows us that even in our lowest moments, something beautiful can begin to unfold. Gregory Dickow shares that what we often see as disaster may actually be a doorway to healing. Isn't it comforting to think that beauty can grow from broken places? When life feels overwhelming or confusing, it's easy to believe that everything is falling apart. But what if it's really falling into place? This chapter invites us to stop running from the storm and instead let it carry us toward something greater. Rather than fearing pain or confusion, Dickow encourages us to embrace the process of transformation. That beautiful disaster isn't about defeat, it's about discovery. Could your most painful moment lead to your greatest strength? When we allow ourselves to surrender, not give up but let go of control, we start to experience peace and clarity. This audiobook summary teaches us that God doesn't waste anything, not even our tears or failures. Instead, He lovingly uses them to shape our purpose. The storm may feel messy, but inside that mess is meaning. You're not alone, and your journey isn't random. In the end, getting swept away isn't the end, it's a new beginning. Sometimes, we find our true selves not in avoiding life's storms, but in trusting the one who can bring calm to the waves. Isn't that a beautiful thought? The gift that costs nothing. In this uplifting audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter The Gift That Costs Nothing gently reminds us of one of life's most powerful truths: the greatest gifts in life are often free. Can something truly valuable come without a price? According to Dickow, absolutely yes. This chapter explores the idea that kindness, love, grace, and compassion are gifts we can offer freely to ourselves and to others. These gifts don't require money, status, or perfect circumstances, they simply require a willing heart. Isn't it amazing to know that what the soul truly needs is already within reach? Gregory Dickow encourages listeners to embrace the gift of forgiveness, both giving it and receiving it. Forgiveness, he says, is not just something we offer others but something we must also give ourselves. Could holding on to pain be stopping us from fully living? When we forgive, we free our hearts from burdens that were never meant to be carried for so long. The chapter also emphasizes the power of presence. Just showing up with love, listening, or offering a smile can make a difference. Even in moments of doubt or weakness, the gift of being present and caring is enough to create change. How beautiful is that? Dickow gently reminds us that the soul doesn't need more pressure, it needs more peace. And peace can begin with the simple, cost-free gift of grace. This audiobook summary reminds us that even if we feel we have little to offer, we already have everything we need to heal and grow. So why wait? What if the most important step to a healed soul is giving the one thing that costs nothing, but means everything? The two most powerful words on earth. In this inspiring audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter The Two Most Powerful Words on Earth reveals a simple truth that can deeply transform our lives: the words I am. Why are these two words so powerful? Because whatever we say after I am shapes our identity, emotions, and future. If we say I am not good enough or I am always failing, we begin to believe those words, even if they aren't true. But what happens when we change the script and begin to say I am loved, I am strong, or I am healing? That's when healing and purpose begin to grow. Gregory Dickow gently teaches that we often let past pain or other people's words define us. But he encourages us to start seeing ourselves the way God sees us, full of purpose, beauty, and potential. Isn't it amazing to think we can change our inner world just by changing our words? This chapter invites us to pause and become more aware of how we speak to ourselves. Are we lifting ourselves up or tearing ourselves down? I am is more than grammar, it's a mirror to our soul. When we attach life-giving words to it, we invite peace, joy, and confidence into our hearts. Dickow reminds us that healing starts on the inside. By choosing to say, I am enough, or I am forgiven, we open the door to transformation. These aren't just positive words, they're declarations of truth. What would happen if you made I am the beginning of something beautiful today? This audiobook summary encourages you to try and see your soul begin to heal. You are worth it all. In the heartfelt audiobook summary of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, the chapter You Are Worth It All reminds us of something truly beautiful: you are valuable, just as you are. No matter what your past looks like or how many challenges you've faced, your worth does not change. Isn't that comforting to know? Gregory Dickow gently shows that many people carry silent pain, feelings of being not enough, or fears that they have to earn love. But the truth shared in this chapter is freeing. You don't need to prove your value. Your life has meaning and purpose, and you were created with love and care. Doesn't that spark a sense of peace? This part of the audiobook summary encourages us to see ourselves through the eyes of grace, not guilt. Often, we are our own biggest critics, but what if we became our own biggest encouragers instead? Dickow shares that the love of God is not based on performance, but on presence. He is with you, and He believes in your future. You are worth it all is a beautiful reminder that healing starts with recognizing your value. The pain you've been through doesn't disqualify you, it prepares you for greater strength, compassion, and purpose. What if your story, even the hard parts, was leading you to something amazing? Through gentle words and deep encouragement, this audiobook summary offers hope to every heart that has felt overlooked, unworthy, or tired. You matter. You are enough. And yes, you are worth it all. So, take a deep breath. Stand a little taller. Smile a little more. Because your journey is meaningful, and your soul deserves healing and love. Part 2. Battling Soul Thieves. What is your name? In the opening of Part 2, Gregory Dickow reminds us of an essential question: what is your name? This simple question may seem straightforward, but it holds deep significance. Your name is tied to your identity, and who you believe yourself to be directly influences how you navigate life. Have you ever found yourself identifying with your mistakes, your past, or the opinions others have about you? In this chapter, Dickow encourages listeners to rediscover their true identity in Christ and not let past labels define them. Dickow explains that, just as names hold a deep meaning in biblical times, they also carry the power to shape your future. So, if you've been carrying shame or have been defined by the negativity of others, this is the perfect moment to redefine yourself. You are not your mistakes, you are not the pain you've been through. Instead, you are defined by your potential, your purpose, and your worth. Isn't it powerful to think that you get to choose the name and identity you wear moving forward? Let no one take your crown. The next chapter of Part 2 encourages listeners to let no one take your crown. Dickow reminds us that we are each crowned with dignity, purpose, and value. It's easy to get caught up in the demands and expectations of others, but it's important to remember that no one has the right to steal your sense of self-worth. You were created with a unique calling and purpose, and it's vital to protect that sense of self from the negativity and judgments that can try to dim your light. In this section, Dickow encourages listeners to embrace their authority and place in life. Don't let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others take away your crown. You have the power to rise above challenges and wear your crown of purpose proudly. The crown isn't just a symbol of royalty, it represents your right to thrive. Have you ever felt that someone else was trying to steal your joy or diminish your worth? In those moments, remind yourself that you are worthy of every good thing life has to offer. Depress no more. One of the soul thieves many of us battle is depression. It can feel like an overwhelming weight that clouds every part of our existence. In Soul Cure, Dickow acknowledges the real pain of depression and offers compassionate guidance for overcoming it. He emphasizes that while depression can be a serious struggle, it does not have to define your life. There is healing, and there is hope. Dickow shares practical steps for addressing depression, starting with shifting the way you view your circumstances. Instead of letting negative emotions control you, he encourages a mindset of gratitude, positive affirmations, and prayer. Healing begins when you focus on the goodness that still exists in your life, even amidst the darkness. Have you ever struggled with feelings of sadness or hopelessness? Dickow gently reminds us that there is power in our thoughts and that we can retrain our minds to look toward the light, even in the toughest times. Shame off you. Another soul thief that Dickow discusses is shame. Shame is a powerful and paralyzing emotion that makes us feel unworthy of love, success, and happiness. It's one of the most difficult emotional wounds to heal because it often lives deep inside us, hidden beneath the surface. Yet, Dickow teaches that shame has no place in your life. Shame is a lie, and it tries to convince us that we are somehow less than, unworthy, or broken. In this chapter, Dickow uses scripture and personal stories to show how shame can be overcome. He reminds us that we are forgiven, loved, and worthy of every good thing life has to offer. Healing comes when we recognize that shame is a thief trying to steal our peace. By embracing the truth of our forgiveness, we can shed the weight of shame and live in the freedom of God's love. Isn't it freeing to realize that shame is not yours to carry? Let it go, and walk into your true identity. Anger, the poison pill. Finally, in Soul Cure, Gregory Dickow discusses the powerful impact that anger can have on our hearts and souls. Anger is often seen as a natural emotion, but when left unchecked, it becomes a soul thief that robs us of peace, joy, and health. It's easy to feel justified in our anger, especially when we've been wronged or hurt, but anger, when not properly managed, becomes a poison that contaminates every part of our being. Dickow emphasizes that anger is not just about an emotional response, it's a spiritual issue that must be addressed. Holding on to anger can block the flow of God's love and hinder your ability to heal and move forward. The key to overcoming anger is forgiveness. Dickow teaches that forgiveness is a powerful act of love, not just for others but for yourself. Have you ever held on to anger, thinking that it would help you feel better? In truth, forgiveness is the key that unlocks healing, and it allows you to release the anger that poisons your soul. Final thoughts: battling soul thieves. Part 2 of Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow offers profound and life-changing wisdom for overcoming the soul thieves that try to rob us of our peace, joy, and purpose. Through the chapters What is Your Name? Let No One Take Your Crown, Depressed No More, Shame Off You, and Anger, the Poison Pill, Dickow empowers listeners to reclaim their identity, their peace, and their life's purpose. By understanding and addressing these soul thieves, we can experience true healing and discover the freedom that comes with letting go of negative emotions and limiting beliefs. Have you ever felt like your soul was being stolen by doubt, shame, or anger? Dickow's teachings offer hope and practical guidance for overcoming these challenges and embracing the fullness of life that God has planned for you. Healing is possible, and it starts with recognizing and addressing the soul thieves that hold you back. Part 3. Parting Gifts for the Soul. In Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose by Gregory Dickow, Part 3, titled Parting Gifts for the Soul, offers empowering and uplifting insights into healing, personal growth, and the rediscovery of one's purpose. Gregory Dickow continues his mission to guide listeners on a journey toward emotional freedom, purpose, and healing. In this section, Dickow shares valuable principles that act as parting gifts for your soul, wisdom, healing strategies, and ways to reclaim joy, passion, and peace. Let's explore the powerful teachings shared in this part of the book. Free at Last: The Secrets to Healing and Emotional Freedom. The first chapter of Part 3, titled Free at Last: The Secrets to Healing and Emotional Freedom, is a profound invitation to release emotional burdens and discover the path to true freedom. Dickow begins by emphasizing that emotional freedom is essential for living a fulfilling life. Many of us carry unresolved emotional pain, trauma, and wounds from the past, and it's easy to become trapped in a cycle of negativity. This chapter offers practical strategies to heal these wounds and regain emotional freedom. Dickow identifies the key to emotional freedom: forgiveness. He explains that forgiveness is not just for the person who hurt us, but it's for ourselves, too. Holding on to anger, resentment, or bitterness only keeps us tethered to our pain, while forgiveness releases those emotional chains. By embracing forgiveness, whether for ourselves or others, we unlock the doors to emotional freedom. Dickow gently reminds us that letting go of the past is necessary for healing, and we don't have to carry the weight of past mistakes, regrets, or hurts. Wouldn't it be incredible to release the hold that negative emotions have over you and feel free to experience peace and joy? Dickow also emphasizes the importance of understanding the role of God's love in the healing process. By accepting God's love, we can heal and step into emotional freedom. This love is unconditional and boundless, and it's the foundation of true healing. Have you ever thought about how releasing emotional burdens and embracing love could transform your life? How to stop feeling bad and start enjoying life. In the next chapter, How to Stop Feeling Bad and Start Enjoying Life, Dickow focuses on the practical steps necessary to shift from a mindset of negativity and despair to one of joy and peace. Many people spend years feeling stuck in patterns of self-doubt, guilt, and shame, which rob them of the ability to truly enjoy life. This chapter provides listeners with actionable tools to break free from these destructive thought patterns and experience a shift in perspective. One of the core principles Dickow shares is the idea of shifting from negative thinking to positive thinking. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing the worst about yourself or your circumstances, but Dickow encourages us to change our internal narrative. By actively choosing to focus on the good in our lives and taking intentional steps toward joy, we can transform our experiences. Dickow also delves into the importance of gratitude in the healing process. When we cultivate a spirit of thankfulness, it shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Gratitude opens the door to peace and joy, as it helps us to see the blessings in our lives, no matter how small. Have you ever noticed how focusing on the good in your life can change your entire outlook? Additionally, Dickow provides practical advice on how to combat negative self-talk and replace it with affirmations of truth and positivity. He emphasizes that healing and emotional well-being are within our control, and by taking small, consistent actions every day, we can begin to experience a new sense of freedom and enjoyment in life. How would it feel to stop focusing on everything going wrong and start embracing everything that is going right? You Are More, Turning Your Pain into Purpose. In the chapter You Are More, Turning Your Pain into Purpose, Dickow shifts the focus from pain and struggle to the incredible potential that lies within each person. Pain is something that all of us experience in life, but Dickow reminds us that pain does not define us. Rather, it is through our pain that we can discover our greatest purpose. This chapter encourages listeners to see their struggles as stepping stones to personal growth and transformation. Dickow challenges the idea that pain is something to be avoided or feared. Instead, he presents a powerful reframe: pain can be a source of strength. Through our pain, we gain resilience, wisdom, and empathy, which can guide us toward our greater purpose. Each challenge we face is an opportunity for growth and an invitation to discover the deeper meaning of our lives. Furthermore, Dickow emphasizes that pain does not have to be an obstacle, it can be a catalyst for change. When we embrace our pain and use it as fuel for transformation, we unlock the potential for a life of purpose and fulfillment. This chapter invites listeners to reflect on their own struggles and how those challenges may have shaped their lives. How might your pain have prepared you for something greater? By looking at pain from a new perspective, Dickow inspires us to move from a place of victimhood to one of empowerment. He encourages us to find meaning in our struggles and to use them as stepping stones to a life of purpose. Have you ever considered that your pain could be part of your greater purpose? Your story doesn't end here. In the final chapter of Part 3, Your Story Doesn't End Here, Gregory Dickow offers a message of hope and inspiration. He reminds us that no matter where we are in life, our story is still being written. We may have faced difficulties, challenges, or setbacks, but these are not the end of our story. In fact, they are simply chapters that contribute to the beautiful narrative of our lives. This chapter encourages listeners to look forward with hope and faith, knowing that the best is yet to come. Your past does not define your future, and there is always room for growth, healing, and change. Dickow emphasizes that God's plan for us is one of restoration, renewal, and purpose. No matter how many times we've stumbled, we are never too far from redemption, healing, or a fresh start. Dickow challenges us to imagine a future that is full of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. He reminds us that each day is a new opportunity to take a step toward becoming the person we were always meant to be. Have you ever felt like your story was over, only to discover that it was just beginning? This chapter offers a refreshing reminder that our best days are ahead of us. Conclusion: The Parting Gifts. Part 3 of Soul Cure provides powerful and transformative parting gifts for the soul, gifts that encourage listeners to heal, embrace their true purpose, and live lives full of joy and peace. Through the chapters Free at Last, The Secrets to Healing and Emotional Freedom, How to Stop Feeling Bad and Start Enjoying Life, You Are More, Turning Your Pain into Purpose, and Your Story Doesn't End Here, Gregory Dickow offers practical and inspiring wisdom that helps listeners shift from pain and negativity to freedom, joy, and purpose. The principles in these chapters offer valuable lessons that can be applied every day, allowing individuals to release emotional burdens, reclaim their identities, and begin living lives full of meaning. Dickow's message is one of hope, healing, and empowerment, reminding us that we are not defined by our pain, our past, or our struggles, but by our potential and the beautiful future that lies ahead. By embracing these parting gifts, we can experience a true soul cure, where healing and transformation lead to a life of purpose and fulfillment. The journey of self-discovery and emotional freedom is ongoing, and Soul Cure provides a roadmap for navigating this path with love, grace, and resilience. Are you ready to embrace the gifts of healing and freedom that await you on your journey to discovering your true purpose? Conclusion. In Soul Cure, How to Heal Your Pain and Discover Your Purpose, Gregory Dickow invites us on a transformative journey to healing, self-discovery, and living a life filled with purpose. This audiobook offers a refreshing perspective on how we can overcome emotional pain, let go of past hurts, and embrace our true potential. With powerful insights and practical tools, Dickow helps us see that healing is not just possible, but within our reach, no matter what struggles we face. One of the core messages of this book is that we are not defined by our past or our pain. Instead, we have the ability to reshape our story by healing emotionally and spiritually. Through forgiveness, gratitude, and understanding, we can free ourselves from the grip of past wounds and step into a life filled with joy, peace, and fulfillment. Isn't it encouraging to think that the pain we've endured can actually lead us to a stronger and more purposeful life? Dickow also emphasizes that healing is a journey, not an event. It's a process that requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to look at our challenges with new eyes. As we embark on this journey, we discover that we have the power to heal and create the life we desire. The key is to take small, consistent steps toward emotional freedom and spiritual growth. Wouldn't it be amazing to realize that each day is an opportunity to move closer to the life you were meant to live? The conclusion of Soul Cure leaves us with a hopeful message: no matter how difficult our circumstances may seem, there is always a way to heal and find our purpose. Dickow reminds us that healing is available to all of us and that we can start the process right now. His words encourage us to embrace our true selves, let go of negative emotions, and step into a future filled with hope and purpose. Do you feel inspired to take charge of your own healing and start living a life of joy and fulfillment? Ultimately, Soul Cure is a powerful reminder that we are worthy of healing, joy, and purpose. Through simple yet profound steps, we can move beyond our pain and discover the beauty and potential that lies within us all. As you finish this audiobook, you'll be left with the understanding that healing is not just about overcoming pain, it's about discovering the amazing life that awaits when we embrace our true purpose. Are you ready to begin your journey toward healing and living a life that reflects your fullest potential?